What's up guys, MJ back again, and today I want to talk to you about 3 things that Americans can learn from Germans. I think it's always important for us to be learning from other cultures and learning other ways to do life. And having lived here in Germany for over a year and a half, there's definitely some things that we think that Americans can learn from the German way of life. Now I have to give a shout out to Annie from America's Got Germans for suggesting the topic. If you haven't seen her channel, go check it out. I'll throw a link in the description. But she is living the flip side of what we're doing here. So we're an American family living here in Germany, and she's a German family living in America. She actually recently did a video on her channel about things that Germans can learn from Americans, and I'll throw a link up here or down in the description as well so you can check that out. But she suggested this topic on our channel, so that's what we're going to talk about today. But stay tuned to her channel and to our channel, because coming up soon, we're going to collaborate and talk about this topic together and dive a little bit deeper. With that being said, let's get into it. The first one I want to talk about is the work-life balance here in Germany. Now I've mentioned this in other videos here and there, but it's such an important aspect of the German culture and the German lifestyle that Americans really need to learn from. Germans tend to work very hard, but when work is over, it's over. There's an incredible ability and even expectation to disconnect from work when the workday's finished. I think in the States, it's common in the evenings or in the weekends to be checking emails, to be checking Slack messages, responding, connecting with your coworkers, your boss over different topics, even when you're off the clock. And I think it's something as Americans we can really look to improve, to disconnect from work, and to, when we're clocked out, be clocked out, be off duty, have that family time, have that personal time, and just be disconnected from work. And the Germans do it so much better than us. Not only do the Germans disconnect better, but they also have more downtime as well. The average German has 28 days of vacation time plus holiday time off. In fact, I recently saw a statistic from the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development that said on average, since at least 2014, Germans have worked the least amount of hours in all of the member countries in the OECD. And we can't talk about work-life balance without talking about Sundays. Yes, Ruhetag, the day of quiet. And I love this concept where almost all of the businesses and shops are closed on Sundays. Yeah, there's some restaurants open and there's some specialty shops or grocery stores open, hop on off, you know, for your emergency, I forgot to go shopping Sundays. But for the most part, everything is closed. And not only is everything closed and work is closed, even housework, especially noisy housework, is not only discouraged, but sometimes not allowed on Sundays. So I really love this mentality of this kind of forced day of rest. So I really think there's a lot that Americans can learn from Germans about that work-life balance. Now, a second thing that Americans can learn from Germans is spending more time outdoors. Now, I know in the States there are plenty of nature lovers who love to get outside and explore and just be outdoors, but I think that's kind of an uncommon thing instead of the norm. So here in Germany, there's a culture of just being outside, getting that fresh air, that frische Luft, not only in your apartment, but going out to enjoy it as well. And it's a great part of the culture. So year round, no matter the weather, you can see Germans walking around the cities, walking in the parks, sitting on the benches, talking, sipping on the Wegbier, getting out in the playgrounds, whatever it is, just being outdoors and getting some fresh air and some exercise. And I think it's something as Americans we often miss as part of our daily lifestyle and as part of our healthy lifestyle. You know, here you can even see the benches and tables outside for the cafes and restaurants, even if it's in the middle of winter. Now I know Germans have a saying that there's no bad weather, only the wrong clothing for the weather, so maybe that's part of it too. But you can always see people sitting outside at a cafe, middle of winter, middle of summer, it doesn't matter. Germans love to be outside and love to enjoy that fresh air and the weather, no matter what the conditions are. And it's really good to see, and it's something we've really tried to incorporate, is just being outside more. And yes, I know we live in a city and it's walkable, but I think it's kind of common across the country where people just spend more time outside. In the States, a common lifestyle was, you know, getting up in your house, getting ready for work, you know, walking from your front door to your car, getting in your car, driving to your office, getting out of your car, going into your office, back in your car, back home, and you're done. And your total outside time was like 5 or 10 minutes. Where here, yes, people are going outside more, people are enjoying that time outside more, getting that exercise, getting that fresh air, and really, you know, taking in nature more so than we would in the States, at least in my experience. And I've lived in a number of different places, and that seems to kind of be the normal lifestyle. And yes, it does go back a little bit to that work-life balance where we're just in America, we're just go, 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 and we're just going from one thing to the next, where I think Germans, again, have that disconnect mentality where taking that kind of pause to just breathe and chill outside is something that's more common here, and it's something that we as Americans can really look to improve upon. And the third thing that I think Americans can learn from Germans has to do with parenting. Now, as a parent, some of these challenge myself and my parenting ability and my parenting thought process. And so it's definitely been a learning situation for me. But with the parenting here, there's a lot of things I've noticed. So it seems to be more of a hands-off parenting style. Let me explain. I can see a parent walking down the street or the sidewalk with the toddler, and their toddler's learning to walk, or beginning stages of walking, doing really good, so enough to be out and about, not falling and stumbling every 2 seconds, but walking long and still not totally comfortable on their feet. And the toddler can fall. Now in the States, if our toddler was walking with us and they fell, we'd pick them up, dust them off. Are you okay? Are you okay? Whereas here, I've seen parents just kind of turn around and watch. And the child might be frustrated, might be a little upset about falling, maybe even has a few tears, but the parent lets them pick themselves up, lets them kind of get on their hands and knees, get back up, and then keep going. So it's a totally different mindset and a totally different kind of way of parenting, where they just let them take care of themselves in that way, even from that young age, where we're in America often overprotective. We're like, oh no, you fell, oh no. So it's definitely a different, kind of way of parenting. And that carries over to other places too. So in the playgrounds here, and I've talked about German playgrounds a little bit, and my kids love them, we love them. And I'm hopefully gonna do like a Leipzig playground tour one time, but we'll see if we can get that video up. But in the playgrounds here, no matter the difficulty of the playgrounds, the kids are often set free to go play. So the parents will bring their kids to the playground, the kids will go run, get loose, get on the equipment, and the parents will sit down on the bench, they'll just read a book or talk to another parent, whatever it is. They're relaxing, they're enjoying their time outdoors, like we said in the previous point there. But the kids are just doing whatever they want, testing their abilities, making mistakes, falling, whatever it is. Where in the States, kind of the norm was being with your child on the playground, watching them as they're climbing over the equipment, kind of being there in case they're stumbling, sometimes physically helping them over obstacles that they're having trouble with or they're not able to do on their own. And we're much more hands-on in that way, but I think it's to the detriment of the child. I think the hands-off parenting, especially in a situation like a playground, really helps that child learn their limits, learn their own limitations, learn how to challenge themselves to the point of doing something that they can't do, and then failing at it, and then trying again until they can do it. And I think because sometimes in America we help too much, it takes longer for the kid to both accomplish that thing on their own, but also to learn their own boundaries and their own limits. So it really makes a huge difference. And another thing kind of about that is that in the States, even if you're sitting on a bench while your child's on the playground, you kind of have your eye on them. And if they fall, oftentimes you jump up, run over again, pick them up, dust them off. Are you okay? Are you injured? That kind of thing. Whereas we've seen kids fall in playgrounds, pretty nasty looking falls, and the parent's not there. The kid's crying and upset, but able to get up, and they're looking around, and they have to go find their parent and say, oh, I'm hurt, I'm injured, whatever it is, instead of the parent running to the rescue. So it's just a different mentality and a different lifestyle, and something we're really trying to adapt, because I really see a positive benefit from it in helping the kids learn their own limitations. Another aspect of the parenting that is so interesting to me is just how young the kids are allowed to kind of care for themselves when getting places, particularly on the way to school. So not just walking to school on their own if it's down the block or something like that, but even kids that were taking buses and trams, across the different parts of the city, from a really young age, they're kind of on their own. I know the parents go the first few days, make sure they know their way, know where they're going, but seeing these kids at such a young age, getting their own way to school, make sure they get there on time, not getting lost, staying safe, staying with other friends, whatever it is, it's definitely a different kind of mentality, where for me, it's still really hard for me to let my kids walk to school on their own, and they're younger, the younger ones, of course. But for me, it's I'm still kind of attached to that security of being able to see them walk into the school grounds and knowing that they're safe, even though it's not that far away, they can get there on their own. and they need to learn how to navigate, even short distances on their own, how to pay attention for the cars and the bikes and things like that. So that's an area I'm still struggling in, but it's something that the German parents do really well. And it's still something I think American parents can certainly learn from, is that kind of letting go and letting kids get a little bit more independence a little bit earlier. And I think between the independence and learning your limitations on the playgrounds and learning how to pick yourself up and move on after fall and things like that, I think those are really healthy things for kids. And sometimes in America, we might be delaying some of that maturity of the kids by not letting them learn their own limitations, by not letting them challenge themselves, by not letting them be a little independent. So again, another thing that I think Americans can learn from the Germans here. So there you have it, 3 things that Americans can learn from Germans. Like I said, I think every culture can learn different things, different ways of doing things, different lifestyles from other cultures. And that's why it's so important to kind of get out in the world and see things from different points of views. And it's another reason why we're so thankful that we have this opportunity to live here in another country, to let our kids be growing up in another country, learning different ways of doing things, learning different cultures. And it's such an awesome opportunity that we're thankful that we have. Hey, if you like this video, let me know by clicking that like button, dropping a comment, and subscribing to the channel. That really helps us know what kind of content that you want to see on our channel. It also really helps us in the YouTube world so our video can get more exposure to other viewers who may want to see kind of what our story is like as an American family living in Germany. And hey, if you're curious about why we moved to Germany or why we chose Leipzig as a city we wanted to live in, you can go ahead and click on that video here or here. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you next time.